It is 7:05. I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Selectman Musk, would you like to? Yeah.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All members of the Board of Selectmen are here in presence. Our next item of business would be the approval of the meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 1st, 2024 is presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Public participation. This is one of two opportunities for members of the public to address the Board of Selectmen. If you would like to address the board, please identify yourself by name and address and state your business. Is there anybody here who would like to address the board? Is there anyone online who would like to address the Board of Selectmen? Okay. There will be another opportunity later in the meeting. Included in your packet is a proclamation issued in commemoration of February as Black History Month. We have no resignations or reappointments. We do have a new appointment. Anna Wasik is interested in joining the Agriculture Commission as a regular member. Her application is included.
I'll make a motion that we accept Anna Wasik to the Agricultural Commission as a regular member for a term expiring March 1st, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I'd ask that we postpone agenda item 8A until another meeting.
Move that we postpone agenda item 8A until another meeting.
Is there a second? Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Do we have a reason for?
At the request of the committee chair?
We don't need to.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? As I've talked about, we are approaching negotiation season with a couple of bargaining units that are out. The first one that we need to establish a negotiating team for is the dispatchers union. So I serve on the negotiation team, and typically one other member of the board does as well. Are there any volunteers?
Nobody? Well, I'll volunteer, but I don't want to sit. I mean, you volunteer, but I'd be happy to do it if you volunteer though. It's up to you. Otherwise, I would do it.
I volunteered because everybody stepped back. That's all.
But finish your thought, Keith.
I volunteer for it. I just didn't speak up quick enough.
Go ahead.
You would, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, can I have a motion to appoint myself and Selectman Yagelov to the negotiation team with between the town and the dispatchers union?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, so next up, we have a couple of MOUs that come to us from community services. The first one, both of these are pro forma, and we've done them for a number of years. Actually, I think the second one with some very modest changes since 1980. But the first one is a memorandum between the town and United Way. And what this does is it provides the town through a point of contact in Melissa Maltesi to provide effectively reestablishment costs for people who are displaced. So that could be assistance with housing, that could be assistance with, if it's a domestic violence circumstance, it could be assistance with wardrobe, those types of services. There's no fee to the town. It's an agreement that we will have somebody who will serve as the point of contact and vet anybody from in terms of means that goes through the program, and then United Way steps in with the resources. Questions or comments on this? May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding to partner with United Way Rapid Response Fund and to direct the first selectman to sign the MOUs.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So. The second one is a memorandum of understanding between the town and the community renewal team. What this does is it provides for the congregate meals that are served at the senior center. Through this agreement, and once we have somebody who is licensed and certified through local health, which is why there's a little bit of a delay this time, but the CRT provides the meals and drops them off, and then we serve them to our client base. We ask for a voluntary donation as is required by CRT. And then that voluntary contribution that's made by the clients at the senior center is funneled back to CRT to help offset what their costs are. This is the agreement that's been in place since 2 years before I was born. It is a vital service that we provide, and I would ask for approval and authorization.
The motion to approve the community renewal team and East Windsor Senior Center memorandum of understanding and to direct the first selectman to sign the same.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just, that is a vital program. I had the opportunity to go up there, with a couple of people the other day, signed up the day before for the meal. And I always look at the meal when I'm up there and I'm saying, that really isn't enough to sustain these people. But I couldn't eat the whole meal, because it's just balanced properly, so, and the people that are out there, on a regular basis, God bless them, because they're getting what they need, or otherwise they wouldn't have it, so this is a great program. I'm also bad that I put my name in, but they had the food, so I did, so I didn't take away from anyone, and I left my deposit, glad we got that straightened out, so.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Tax refunds.
I'll move to approve the tax refunds totaling $6,999.62.
Is there a second? Motion has been made by Sarah, seconded by Alan. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Would you mind if I sit in with, get better clarification from my understanding of this? Sure. I just can't think people are overpaying. The way that people are overpaying. So I don't know if it's overpaying because they've appealed or what.
More than welcome. All right, selectmen's reports. I have a brief one this evening. Right there. I keep everything open at once, just so that when everything finishes. All right, so. So on February 7th, I attended the pension board's quarterly meeting with representatives of the town's investment team. They actually did a little bit of a deeper dive into this than they have typically, but I'll let Alan go into detail if you'd like. Following that, I presented my initial budget recommendation for town services in the next fiscal year. As Paul says, this is a fluid and evolving process, and this is kind of like the starter's pistol in that marathon. So things will continue to evolve, new information will be brought forward, and we'll make decisions that ultimately the Board of Finance and then the voters will decide. On February 8th, the Board of Selectmen and Education held a joint meeting to hear and discuss the findings of the school facilities study that was provided to the town by our consultant construction solutions group. They presented a number of options that would allow the town to address the facilities needs of our school buildings, which is very likely to be the first of many public conversations that will need to involve the whole community as we chart a course forward for the care of expensive town properties. This Saturday is the return of the Panther Plunge. Community Services is asking local businesses, organizations, and individuals who are interested in participating to help fundraise for the East Windsor Fuel Bank. This will help ensure that we can successfully help local families heat their homes during the cold winter months. That's going to be this Saturday at 1 o'clock. On the same topic, I am very pleased to announce that the town has received a $15,000 donation from the Rockville Bank Foundation towards our heating assistance program. We're very grateful for their generosity. And a final point of interest that may be of interest to some people. There is going to be a presentation from the Connecticut Farmland Trust on February 27th at the Ellington Town Hall Annex, where they'll discuss topics such as farmland preservation, options for farmland succession planning, and what grants and resources are currently available to assist farmers in Connecticut. That's going to be the 27th at 6 o'clock. And anyone interested can email projects@ctfarmland.org. That's my report. Marie?
I had no liaison meetings since our last meeting, so I have nothing to report on my committees. But I did want to put out there that as Jason mentioned, on Saturday, starting at noon to 2 o'clock, is going to be the polar plunge. If anybody's looking to make a donation, my family and I are plunging. And so we'll all be there. The other thing is, I just want to make sure that people are aware that we lost a member of the community last week. Doug Humphreys, who was a police officer for many years and a canine officer in town of East Windsor, and has played Santa Claus for the Broadwood Fire Department over the years. Just all nice individual passed away. The services are going to be this Saturday. We have the hours from 12 to 4 at Bassington Funeral Home, if anybody wanted to be aware of that. I just wanted to put that out there. I don't have to put it in a minute, but I just want to put it out there because I could. And then I went to the Board of Education meeting last night because they knew they were going to talk about the meeting that we attended at the joint meeting that we had with them regarding the school proposals that were presented. Their first meeting with their facilities group to discuss that in totality is going to be March 4th or the 6th. So they'll have their first meeting to see where they want to go, kind of thing. And then at that point, they're going to come back to us with some preliminary to try to put it back on the agenda so we can put forward with the money necessary to do a further study, because we put it on hold at the last meeting. So I just throw that out there to you because I don't know who we're supposed to be there, but
That was me, but
that's
it's my busiest
my biggest day of the year. So, and I knew that.
I'm glad
so,
that you went.
Yeah, so I went. Other than that, the only other thing to recall, because I wasn't going to report this since you
Yeah, thank you.
I will, the high school put out a newsletter for the first time.
That was
Um,
great.
Yeah, I have it in my car in case you want it, but I want to read it first and then I'll get it to you. And I guess they're trying to do all 3 of the schools to do a newsletter for the year, so that was good. And then you did, if you look at their agenda, there's a section in there where there's some proposals for added class instructions, Italian, 3D art, 2D art. There's a list of 7 or 8 different courses that they approved because the current staffing, and to mix that into there'll be some semester this time and maybe next time they won't have it because they don't have enough students wanting to participate, but it just gives 8 more subjects that will give whoever's interested the opportunity to do something a little bit different. So, that's good. So that's it.
Pete?
Everything's been covered except 2 items. One is that the Broadwood Fire Department is in the middle of their space analysis. They have a outside consultant that's already engaged in the work, and they're hoping to get some information back in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And they, the people doing that came to their meeting and introduced themselves and answered some questions there. The other thing is the Arts and Culture Committee was snowed out on Tuesday. We tabled tonight the ordinance. I sent out a revision to the draft ordinance to everybody, including their committee. It addresses some of those concerns that I had, so I hope that everyone here will have an opportunity to look that over. And I think they're gonna be discussing the version, the latest version that was put out by Jason, and then also the edits that I had proposed. So I think they're gonna discuss that hopefully next Tuesday. And then hopefully we'll come back with a discussion and a vote on the ordinance to convert that committee to a arts and culture commission. That's it.
I'm gonna report on my agriculture and conservation commission from January, since I missed the February meeting. And they won't be again until after our next one, but for the agricultural commission, they're looking at taking looking at the feasibility, or if it's even allowed, and we did contact Amy, and we got to follow up with her, but they want to take the money from the leases of the farm leases that we do now and put that into account, so to be able to start building up some money to repair the Colgate, the part of the Colgate property that's been overgrown and has all the trees and tobacco wires and all that stuff that was left over when that stopped being farmed. So they're really looking to work on that, and I offered to help them with that as well. They're currently reviewing the existing farms to make sure they have a current list in case things come up. And they're working on the community garden shed, so they were going to put in a permit for that. I don't know if that happened yet, but that's going to be built by one of the commission members who does, well, as you know, Jim Strapper does excellent work in that department. So looking forward to that. They're talking about their farmer's coffee, which is normally, I think in March, and maybe combining that with the opening of the community garden, which they're probably going to expand because it's just full every year. They get a lot of good response from that, so they're kind of working on all that. Conservation Commission, we're talking about an open space policy, and as you know, I don't know, 3 meetings ago, we approved 10 Morris Road to be sold, or I guess, yeah, sold. And then it turned out that was open space. You couldn't just do it that way. It has to be done a different way. So it kind of brought up, luckily that was caught and rejected by planning and zoning, the 824 referral. But so it brought up it highlighted the need for a policy to make sure that we, check through how we do this and make sure that everybody is aware of the process and what properties are going to be possibly dispersed or whatever. So I think that's something we'll be working on in the next few months. And then they talked about scenic road ordinance, which had been brought up, and really there's a bunch of specific statutes that define how you can have a scenic road and what you need to do. So they're just kind of early stages with that as well. So more to come on that. I missed the wetlands meeting because I was here, or actually was over at the middle school with you guys, as you know. And then our planning and zoning was snowed out. So, but I did go to the pension, and I just wanted to bring up a couple things with pension, as we only see that quarterly. But for last year, our total return was 17.12%, which is phenomenal, sounds phenomenal, but we lost the year before 20%, I think, 24%. I don't remember the exact numbers. So we account for that, though. Then we don't make any decisions based on an annual number. It's based on some years of performance, that we base our going forward assumptions on. But what I always kind of look at and I'm concerned about is, for that period, we took in 1.8 million or so of contributions, but then we had 2.2, almost 2.3 million in withdrawals. And that points to the fact that many of our labor, our pension contracts, there's, the contributions are low, and we need to work on them as we go through these, the renewals of these pension contracts. We need to make sure that the people that are benefiting from the pension are the ones that are making sure that it's healthy. You know, besides Millman and the rest of us, you know, doing our fiduciary duties about that. So other than that, we did, as you mentioned, have a deeper dive into the fiduciary side of it, where we have part of what Webster does for us is they have a guy that just looks at tracks the performance of every single investment opportunity that's available to the plan members, and just make sure that it's good and it's worth having and they're not losing their shirts on it. And they had Millman there to kind of let us know who's in what, basically, and how, you know, how people are using both the pension and the 457 and whatnot. So really, we have a very good view of the plan and how people are using it. We're always looking to improve it to make sure that it's as healthy as it possibly can be. And our plan is probably one of the best funded and best managed probably around. You can compare it really to anybody. It's certainly better than the state. But so that's that, and more to come on that. That's it.
Thank you. Sarah?
I don't really have much to report on. I've had a lot of work commitments over the past 2 weeks. I did attend the Warehouse Point Fire Department Commissioners meeting on February 5th. The commission gave reviews to the fire chief, administrative assistant, and fire marshal in executive session, and they set their budget workshop dates. Arts and Culture Committee was canceled due to the weather. That meeting has been rescheduled for Wednesday, February 21st. And I was unable to make the Board of Ed meeting, but Marie did update you all. So that's all I have tonight.
All right. We'll turn now to the second opportunity for members of the public to address the board. If there's anybody here present who would like to address the Board of Selectmen, please state your name and your address and state your business. Yes, sir. Name and address.
Barkley, Kings Court, Broadbrook. I have a curious question on the old school at the annex, Rouse Point. How sound is the roof on that? Is it good to the point where it's not leaking? Because that's the whole building in itself, once it starts to leak.
The roof was repaired there not that long ago, last 10 years.
As I go by there and look at it, it looks a little tired, you know, I mean, the building itself. I was just wondering, you know, how good is the roof flood on it?
There were problems there that had been corrected.
Good enough.
Is there anybody online who would like to address the members of the Board of Selectmen? Seeing none, we'll go into executive session. Could I have a motion? It would include just the 5 of us. No action to follow.
Was it, you know, why do you live? That was looking apartment about 52 Main Street. Was in the paper the other day, that phone call,
52 Main Street where?
Broadbrook.
The
The
house
house
is down from my grandmother.
yeah.
Oh, it's probably on I can answer that.
Okay.
I'll move, we go into executive session.
Is there a second? All in favor?
I
We are in executive session at 7:29.